Welcome back to Storytime Saturday here on SecretSpool. I'm Grace, and tonight's story is one of those quiet, profound encounters that stays with you long after it's over. It's a moment that blurs the line between intuition and the unexplainable, the kind that gently reminds you that sometimes guidance arrives when you least expect it. So settle in, because this is a story about loneliness, courage, and a stranger who seemed to know far more about my life than any stranger should. Last October, I made the biggest leap of my life. I moved to Hawaii completely alone. From the outside, my days back in Chicago looked stable. Steady job, respectable income, a lifestyle everyone told me I should be grateful for. But inside, I felt like I was living a version of my life that belonged to someone else. Each morning, I woke up with that heavy, familiar thought. Is this all there is? Eventually, I realized I had two choices: keep shrinking into a life that drained me, or take a chance on something new. So I trusted that small, insistent feeling inside me, the one urging me to make a change before my spirit dulled completely. I packed what I could, stored what I couldn't bear to part with, and boarded a plane toward an island I'd only visited once. I told myself I wasn't running away, but the truth is, part of me was desperate for a reset. I didn't know it then, but sometimes life breaks your routines so it can rebuild your direction. The first few weeks in Hawaii were beautiful but emotionally rough. I only knew one person on the island, and even though the scenery looked like something out of a dream, loneliness settles in quickly when there's no one to share it with. Some nights I wondered whether I'd made a mistake, whether the courage I felt leaving Chicago was really just restlessness dressed up as bravery. To keep myself grounded, I built small routines: morning walks, sunset journals, and regular visits to the community pickleball courts. I wasn't a great player, but that didn't matter. The sounds, the movement, the friendly nods from locals, it helped me feel tethered to something again. For the first time since moving, I felt moments of real peace slipping in between the loneliness. One bright afternoon, as the trade winds rustled the palm trees overhead, I was practicing serves when I noticed a man watching the game from the edge of the court. He stood out, not because he was trying to, but because he had an energy that felt grounded and calm, almost centered. He was a black man with strikingly blue eyes, the kind of blue that almost startled you when he finally looked your way. When he approached, he greeted me as if we were already familiar, his smile warm and easy. We chatted casually at first, until the tone quietly shifted. He tilted his head, studied me for a moment, and said, "You're from Chicago, right?" Before I could react, he named the exact 2 streets where my old apartment sat. Hearing a stranger speak them aloud made my stomach drop. It wasn't a lucky guess, and it wasn't something I'd mentioned in passing. My first instinct was disbelief, maybe even a little skepticism. But he didn't give me time to question it. "You have 3 brothers," he continued. I immediately corrected him, saying I only had 1. He shook his head gently, like he wasn't disagreeing, just clarifying. "No, 3. 1 blood brother and 2 stepbrothers." A chill ran through me, not because he was wrong, but because he was exactly right. I rarely talk about my stepbrothers. I hardly even think about them. How could a stranger possibly know? He kept going with the same calm certainty. "You're Polish," he said, "and you've always had a strong bond with your mom." It wasn't just the facts themselves. It was the way he spoke them, like he wasn't guessing, like he wasn't fishing for reactions. He already knew. And the way he looked at me wasn't intrusive. It felt more like someone acknowledging something they'd simply observed, as if he had access to a story I never told. At one point, I wondered whether he recognized me from social media or a mutual acquaintance, but nothing about him felt performative or rehearsed. He seemed perfectly at ease, almost serene. Then, without me mentioning my job or the reasons I'd moved, he said, "You're about to step into work you actually love. Something aligned with you. Something that will make you feel like you're finally growing into yourself." Hearing those words felt like someone had placed a warm hand over my anxious heart. Before I could catch up to everything he'd already revealed, he added, "You'll meet your person soon. You'll be married at 27, and you'll have 3 children." His voice wasn't dramatic or mystical. He simply stated it the way someone might tell you the weather forecast. Calm, confident, unmoved by the strangeness of the moment. And yet, those were the exact fears I carried silently. Love, timing, building a family, finding a future that felt like mine. What surprised me wasn't just the information he shared. It was the feeling that washed over me as he spoke. Not fear, but peace. A calm, grounding sense that I was hearing something meant for me. For the first time since moving, I felt understood in a way that didn't require me to explain anything. After a quiet moment, he smiled again and said, "I have a sense for these things. I knew I was meant to talk to you today." He said it gently, not with the confidence of someone performing a trick, but with the warmth of someone fulfilling a small responsibility. Somehow, it felt like he believed every word he said, and oddly, a part of me did too. Eventually, it was my turn to play again. I thanked him for the conversation, still processing everything he'd told me, and started walking toward the court. Just before I stepped back into the game, he said softly, "I'm always here. You'll find me around." There was something reassuring in his tone, something that made me want to turn back and continue talking. But the game was beginning, so I stepped away. A few seconds later, I did turn around. I don't know why. Instinct, maybe, or the lingering pull of a conversation that felt unfinished. But when I looked back at the spot where he'd been standing, he was gone, completely gone. Not walking toward the parking lot, gone. Not lost behind another group, gone. Just vanished in a way that defied the layout of the fenced-in courts. There was nowhere he could have disappeared to in those few seconds without me seeing him. I played the rest of the game in a fog, replaying everything in my mind. The details, the predictions, the calm way he delivered each revelation. Afterward, I searched again. The benches, the walkways, the bike racks, even the street beyond the fencing. But there was no sign of him. And in all the days and weeks that followed, I never saw him again. Not once. I've replayed that encounter more times than I can count. I've tried to apply logic, intuition, coincidence, remarkable perception, but none of it fully explains the accuracy, the timing, or the overwhelming sense of peace I felt. The moment didn't feel random. It felt placed. Sometimes life sends messages through unexpected messengers, and sometimes those messengers appear only long enough to remind us we're on the right path. I came to Hawaii searching for something I couldn't name, and instead, I met a stranger with blue eyes who vanished moments after giving me exactly the reassurance I needed. Call it intuition, fate, or something more mystical. Some encounters feel like they were placed in our lives with intention. If this story resonated with you, tell me in the comments. I'm Grace, and this is SecretSpool.